Hey everyone, this is Max from Unsubscribed Healthcare, and today we're going to be going over the SOAP form. This form is included in each pre-made template that you have available inside of your templates folder. What this form does is that it is able to take a Google form submission, and it is going to put all of those answers into one of the pre-made SOAP form doc templates. This is based off of your answers from that form. When you select discharge, it will take the discharge form template. When you select eval, it will take the eval form template and copy it. When you select reeval and treatment, it will also be able to select those and fill them in. These are just examples of pre-made templates. Feel free to add your own, make it your own, and have it fit all of your needs. This is a Google Doc, so it's a little bit easier. In fact, if you don't even want to use the Google Sheets, you don't have to. You can now go ahead and hide these sheets. And you can have it look just like this, where you're just using the SOAP form, as well as the database and the intro. When we're first starting this, you can read the purpose and overview here. You'll need to click on Add Trigger. What that does is it creates a trigger that when the form is submitted, it will automatically create a document with all of the placeholders replaced with the information that was submitted from the form. And also, it will come over here into the database, and it's going to look at all of these placeholders and replace the information in column J into the pre-made templates as well. So here's an example of a discharge that I made. You can see here that it is going to get the referring provider from the database. I labeled all of them from the database as DB. And then down here, you can see I have the therapist will be brought forward, the subjective, the objective, assessment, plan of care, and treat, all from the form answers will be put in down here. So this is information that we already had from the intake form, and this is information that we can then populate and bring forward. So let's try it out. So we click and Add Trigger. Once the finished script has been made, we're going to go into the patient folder, and now you can see that there's a form there. So it moves the form into the folder of the patient. And then we get to click on the I so that now we are filling out this form. So what do we want to do? Let's try doing a discharge just because we've done an eval and we've done a treat. I'm going to click on Max Shippin, DPT, and I already had a SOAP note written so that I can just copy and paste. So that is what I'm doing here. Okay, and when I click submit, we'll go back into Max Shippin's folder, and you're now going to see a new Max Shippin just discharge 26 November 2024 appear. Okay, and you can now see that it has updated the time because that is when I submitted it. And if we click on it, now you can see all of those placeholders have been filled in with all of the information that we need from the patient as well as from the Google form submission. So you can see here all of the range of motion, objective, assessment, plan of care, and everything else has been filled in. The other thing that I've done for these Google Docs is that I've made it so you can save this directly as a PDF into the patient folder because, again, it's annoying to have to come here to download and then click PDF document, download it to your computer, and then upload it again to your Google Drive. So instead, if you go to the unsub menu, click Save as PDF, you have to go ahead and authorize the script to run. And then it should run. And you can see it has saved as a PDF into the PDFs folder. So if we go back to Max Shippin, click on here, and now you can see here's the PDF that was created. After you click submit on the SOAP form, it will automatically create this PDF. So you don't have to use the unsub menu and save as PDF. I just did that in case somebody needed to do a addendum. You would have the document available for you to edit and add an addendum to. So if you wanted to, you can easily update this form and make it your own. So if you have different treatment tables that you want to do, if you have different options that you want to be able to select from, say that you made more of these soap form doc templates, you could put in as many templates as you want here. Just make sure that you update the form that you're going to be using with the names of all of the docs that you have there. You also want to update the therapists that are going to be providing treatment as well. And then when you add more questions into a section, it might get a little screwy on the workbook side, the workbook of the patient or of the original. So the way that a Google workbook that is attached to a form runs, when you add a new question, it adds it into the end column that does not have a question in it yet. So if we go back here, and even though we're in the eval section, it's going to add the question at the end. So let's click on add question. So if we add in eval patient rating, awesome and awful, just to be able to get the feel from the patient, you can see here now eval patient rating has been added to the end column without a question. So even though the eval section is over here, now the question is at the end. So when you make placeholders, just make sure that you add the placeholders appropriately, and that you make it so it's easy for you to see where that should go and what document you should put that in. So once you've created that placeholder, you'll copy it, and then you'll go over to your template. So we'll go over soap form doc temp, and then we're going to get the eval so that when we submit this, it'll be available right there. And we will call this patient rating. Yeah, and we're going to submit another one, and we'll just do this real quick. Okay, and then we go back. We'll wait for it to appear here. There's the eval. And then if we go into PDFs, you'll see the PDF appear as well. So let's click on the PDF. You can see the patient rating has now been pulled forward. The reason why these didn't pull forward is because I did not make the placeholders for these yet in the database, but that's something that I'm going to put in now. If you wanted to do this, or if you needed to, this is how you would do it yourself. Go into the database, scroll down to the very bottom, and you can see here that I've started adding in extra rows that can now also be pulled forward to deal with the business name, business address, and everything else. So if I come back into the eval, instead of having the business name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here, and I can see that the business name is now this placeholder value. So I'm going to come in here and replace that with that value in that placeholder, and then you can see business address. So I'm going to do a combination of these two. So I'm going to Control C and Control Shift V should get rid of all of that. So now you can see that we'll put the address in there, patient first name and last name. We can come back to the database and let's see what that is. That is DB4 and DB5. So we'll Control C, go back into the template. Okay, we need to see date of birth, and the date of birth is going to be here. So that is DB9. You can see phone number. We want to replace that as well. DB6. Patient ID is DB7. Okay, and we want to replace the business email as well. I don't know if I have one of those yet, so let's come down and let's make one. So we will use BL5. I'm going to click equals, and I'm going to come up here to the email, and then that way I can now do BL5. And business phone as well is BL4. So now when we create that template, it should fill in all of these. So let's double check on that and make sure. So I will come over here to the simple soap. We are going to click on eval. And now I'll wait for the new one to appear. Excellent. So you can see the new one is here and all of the information has been populated like we wanted. Obviously, there's some formatting that you'll have to mess around with. You can see the patient ID, push the patient ID label off to the next row. So you would want to change that. And you can also see the patient's address has also changed. So you just want to make sure that it's all formatted correctly. But you can also see the patient rating has been brought forward. So you have two placeholder areas that you can bring forward information from, both the form submission as well as the roquet in the database tab. Next up, we will be looking at the unsub menu.